Hey guys, Dan Barrett here from Big Smoke Barbecue and Four Monkeys. Today I've got this little lamb shoulder I picked up from my local just before, and I thought I'd give it a cook today and show you guys how to do this at home. It's great at competition, it's great at home, and as far as pulled meats go, it's probably up there with one of the best. So let's get cracking, shall we? Alrighty guys, what have we got here is our little lamb shoulder, straight out of the packet. And what you want to do is just turn it over and you get all these, you find these little heavy bits of fat. Lamb has a lot of deep fat pockets. You want to just knock them out without going too crazy and pulling this thing apart. Just knock off anything that's hard, you know it's not going to render out. It's not going to be enjoyable to eat, so we'll knock all them off. I think lamb shoulder is a really underrated cut, but it's one of the best pork meats you'll eat, I reckon. I love it. We love it here in our house. We'll flip it over. You'll notice it's got this thin, flappy tag thing here. I usually knock that off. There's nothing much in it. It's just gonna burn up in any way. So, and then we'll take the knife to the top again. I'd like to go pretty heavy on the trim up top. Take off, there's a lot of hard fat, you'll feel it, don't even hear that, but that's not going to render out, that's just going to be unenjoyable to eat. So, and we want to expose as much of that meat as we can, so when we apply our rub, it's going to bark up and you're going to get to eat it and not just put it in your mouth and spit it out. You can see there's a lot of fat on these, but just take your time, get through them, and it'll be perfect. Just like that, exposing all that meat. We're going to cook this at 300 degrees Fahrenheit today, so it's going to be pretty high temperature, so it shouldn't take too long. As I said, something you can try at home. If you haven't tried it, definitely give it a go. Your family's going to love it. Just like that. It doesn't have to be anything special. Just expose a lot of that meat on both sides. And this thing is ready to rub with our seasoning. I'm going to hit it with a bit of olive oil to start off with, use it as a binder. You don't have to use a binder. With lamb, I like to for some reason. I just think it works better. Both sides. I think it really helps that rub stick to that meat. Now she's hit with some olive oil. We're going to start by seasoning the underside as usual. I'm doing it from a height. I'm using the Four Monkeys lamb rub today. It's a great rub. We've had great success with it at home and the competitions too, with a couple of perfect scores. And from a height, just put a heavy coating on it. Lamb shoulder's a pretty big cut, so it can take a fair bit of a hiding. Both sides. It's going to give that great colour. You can see it's going to start to change pretty soon. Once that rub really starts to set in. There's no real pretty way to do it. Just get it on there and pat it in and put it on the pit. While that sits for about 20 minutes, we're going to get that pit fired up. As I said, about 300 degrees Fahrenheit today. It'll probably take about 20 minutes for the pit to get up, so perfect time for this to sit here and absorb in those flavours, and we'll be back soon. Alright guys, it's been about 20 minutes. Pit's rolling at 300, it's humming along nicely. The lamb shoulder's looking really good. The rub's really soaked in and adhered to the meat, so there's nothing left to do, just chuck it on. And we're going to let this roll for a few hours now. We're not even going to look at it, not even going to touch it, and we'll come back in a couple of hours and check it out. Alright guys, check this out. It's been about 3 hours now, and this little lamb shoulder is looking perfect. It's got a nice little bark to it. It's starting to pull back from the bones, so what we're going to do now is wrap it up in either a tray or some foil. So what I've got here is just an aluminium tray. Actually, I'm going to pop that in there. What we're going to add into it is some thyme, just a few sprigs down the side on top. We've got about 4 cloves of garlic, just roughly chopped, crushed up in there too. And we got some butter. Pop some butter on top, let that melt over. And what this is going to create is a nice au jus at the base of this once it's all completed finished. And we're going to use that to pull the meat, and we're going to mix it all in together, and it's going to be sensational. So get it in there, just like that. Take this glove off. We'll wrap it up with some foil. these back on the pit. It's probably going to be going for another couple of hours still, but yeah, at this stage we just want to get it wrapped. It's got a nice colour, we'll put it back on and we'll check it later on. Alright guys, check this out. It's been about another hour and a half since we wrapped this up and we put it back in the pit, and I'm pretty happy with it, so let's have a look, shall we? Just pull that off, and look at that. Absolutely sensational. And I know earlier on I said we were going to add thyme, but really I meant rosemary. My bad on that. Check this out. It's probing super soft. It just goes in with ease, this probe. If you were going to take temperatures, it's around 210 degrees Fahrenheit, but you know, super soft. So it's right where we want it. It's broken down, the bones are starting to peel off. So we're going to wrap this back up, let it rest for about an hour, and then we'll pull it apart. All right guys, we're back here now. It's been about an hour. I think it's time now. I can't wait anymore. So let's rip this off. Let's have a look at that. Absolutely sensational. This bone, look at that, just slides straight out. There's no easy way to do this, just get stuck in there, pull the bones out. They're gonna come out clean. Get rid of these sprigs of rosemary, and nothing left to do but just get in there and look at that. That is just sensational. It's so soft, super tender. It's gonna be delicious. Just dig through it with your hands. I find that the best way to do it. That way you can feel anything that's going to be unpleasant to eat, like that bit right there. It's really fatty, you don't want to eat that. So just sift through it, take your time, separate the good from the bad, and then you're good to go. Super soft, it's amazing. What I'm also going to do is I've got some of this pomegranate vinegar. Just going to pour a little bit of that in there as well. Add a little bit of extra zing in there. And I think we're done with that. Super soft. Oh, god damn, that's good. All right guys, hopefully you've watched the video and you can, you know, try something like this at home yourself. If you haven't tried one, definitely give it a try. It's super easy, and it's super delicious. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, God.